What's something people don't understand until they've been through it themselves? Story 1. Struggling without anyone or anything to fall back on. Knowing that if one thing goes wrong, I'm completely fucked. That there is no safety net. Then watching prices climb and mentally running scenarios of what I'm gonna do in any given situation. All while acting like everything is okay so I don't pass adult problems onto my son. As an adult whose parents pass their adult problems onto their children, thank you for this. Your son will grow up and see what you did for him and how you protected him. IDOWorkHereLady. My mother is a saint who did the best she could as a single mom. I love her and do not resent her in the slightest for her decisions. Most of the time, parents are just people doing their best and trying to figure it out as they go. With getting older and realizing that, comes a whole new appreciation for her. Story 2. Not having enough money due to unforeseen circumstances. Not every poor person is poor because of their own decisions. Finances are like traffic. You can do everything right on the road and have your life completely flipped by some other asshole driver. I think people who have enough money are completely ignorant to the fact that others don't have enough money. There was a thread recently about the temperature people keep their house over winter, and a lot of people commenting that they keep the house warm because it's healthier and they don't feel the need to prove they're hard like people who keep it cold. Not an inkling of understanding that most people who don't turn the heat on do it because they simply don't have money. Story 3. Chronic debilitating illness and disability. How quickly life can change permanently without you doing anything wrong. Most people don't realize that having a body that doesn't hurt and isn't sick is a luxury they should appreciate as much as they can, while they still can. Illness and disability can happen to anyone, at any time. Story 4. Having a disability. I have chronic nausea as part of my disability, and I find when regular people catch the stomach bug, they always message me saying, "How do you manage to live like this every day? I feel so bad for you." And then, as soon as they're better, they forget and ask me why I'm not eating. It's like their brain blocks out the experience. Story 5. Experiencing the death of someone you love. My wife died in my arms on May 13th, 2023, at 6:28 p.m. She was 33. I heard her last breath, saw her eyes empty, felt her go limp. I didn't dream at all the first 4 months after. No nightmares, no dreams. I had to call her family and friends to let them know she had died that evening. From September of last year to May this year, she had lost 70 pounds. She looked like a skeleton, but not to my eyes. She was beautiful, and I told her every single day. She started agonal breathing at 1 a.m. on Saturday the 13th. I administered morphine and Ativan every hour so she wouldn't suffer too much. I played all of her favorite movies, 50 First Dates, Deadpool, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and read her our wedding vows. Her last words were, "I love you too." She died 6 hours later. When the funeral home employees came to pick her up that night, they asked me if I wanted to spend some time with her before they took her. I couldn't speak. I just shook my head no. She wasn't there anymore. Her mortal cage had opened its door, and she had flown away. Her eyes. I'll never forget her eyes after she had gone. Please, everyone. If something doesn't feel right, and the doctor says it's nothing, get a second opinion. C's get degrees. And Ali's primary care doctor absolutely murdered her through misdiagnosis. Story 6. Being with an abuser, mentally, physically, or both, and how hard it is to leave. Came here to say that. Why didn't you defend yourself? You're stronger. Why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you tell anyone? Yep. One girl I knew went on a rant about how easy it was to leave a terrible relationship by just using logic. She was so giddy when she exclaimed this at a party, like it was a new scientific discovery. We tried explaining financial and emotional abuse, to say nothing about being cut off from society, but she just kept repeating about use logic, use logic. Nicole, if you're out there, it's been 12 years, and I still think you are an idiot. Story 7. Car crashes. I was literally in a minor crash, 20 mph I was going when someone crashed into the side of me. I now hesitate driving by junctions where a car is waiting to exit. I freak out thinking they'll get me. It's honestly so fucking horrible. I was rear-ended twice in 2 years. Both times, I was stopped with my left turn signal on waiting for oncoming traffic to pass. The first one was relatively minor. Her car was totaled, but we were both fine. Second time, the person who hit me was injured badly, but okay. I didn't even notice. I was hit. I felt the car vibrate, thought, oh, someone just hit me, and pulled over. Did not realize my car had been pushed up like 25 feet. I don't remember the actual impact at all. Also did not even realize it was considered a serious accident, until the police and the DR at urgent care and the insurance agent who totaled my car kept all calling it that. I swear, I have PTSD-like issues from those accidents now. I hate left turns, and I dislike being in the passenger seat. And I just imagine getting hit in some catastrophic accident now when I drive. When I was driving shortly after the second accident, my Apple Watch kept dinging at me to breathe, lol. Story 8. Losing a child. This one hits home, together with clinical depression and anxiety. Even understanding the grief of other parents can be tough because of circumstances. I lost my son 13 years ago, when he was 7. My colleague lost hers last year when he was 24. Mine was an accident, hers was cancer. I understand the loss and the pain, but there is still the little nagging voice in my head telling me she had more time with her son, and even though there was hope, the outcome was always expected. Obviously, I am supporting her as best I can, but it's not the same, and we cannot understand each other 100%. All we can do is talk, share memories and experiences and thoughts and feelings. Story 9. Grief. When it's been a while since, it's common for people to say something like, "It's been a few years, move on." It truthfully doesn't work that way. You remember them forever. And even when times after are extremely good and happy, a little part of you is looking in that empty corner. Don't say the move on thing to grieving people. It truthfully is great that you don't relate. Grieving people don't want you to try and relate. They're in the middle of a process that, at least in some ways, lasts forever. God, this so much. I got a phone call that my mom had passed on the morning of my birthday while driving down to go see her across country. It's been 6 years, and it's just as raw as the day I got that call. I don't think grief ever goes away. I think we just get better at hiding it. Story 10. Depression. Actual clinical diagnosed depression. If I had $1 every time I had to explain to someone it's not just feeling sad, bro, and can get over it just like that, I could retire. I have bipolar disorder type 1 severe manic episodes followed by very long depressive episodes. Once I came back from the psych unit for the 3rd time, I constantly had to explain to my family I couldn't just choose to be happy or not act out on my impulses. One time, a manic episode led to psychosis, and it wasn't until my mental illness started scaring them did they let me treat it medically without interruption. Story 11. Homelessness. Nothing prepares you for it. No amount of knowledge about resources, street smarts, etc. prepares you for the devastation that is homelessness when you're not mentally ill or high to the hills. You quickly learn all the resources we like to lie to each other about and pretend those lazy bums have are a crock of shit. Shelters are dangerous, filthy, abhorrent places, understaffed and simply don't have the funding to do much good. You can get food assistance, but that's about it. Everything is a waiting game. Rapid rehousing in most of the country isn't rapid. You'll be on a waiting list forever. And when politicians want to save a few bucks or show how fiscally conservative they are, guess whose funding gets cut first? Never mind the trauma of never having privacy, a bathroom, a place to sleep safely, a place to keep any belongings without them being stolen, the constant threat of being robbed in your sleep, or assaulted if you're female, or maybe some teens feel like pelting you with eggs, etc.